Good evening, very good evening, friends. Welcome to the domain analytics session. So, we will be understanding for next 8 hours. We'll be discussing about the machine learning as well as artificial intelligence and their users in the field of domain analytics, that is crime analytics. Okay, so first we need to understand what are the agenda of the session. So first we try to understand about crime analytics and their applications of machine learning as well as AI in the field of crime analysis. And we just need to understand what is the method that we follow to or project management methodology that we have for any machine learning problem statement. And in that, we just need to understand what is the exploratory data analysis. And going forward, we'll understand clustering algorithm, classification algorithm, regression algorithm, classification algorithm again, and artificial intelligence, that is neural network. So we'll try to cover as much as possible by understanding supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. And also, apart from that, we'll just also concentrate on neural network. So first, we'll understand what is crime analysis, why it is important, and what are the contributions of machine learning and AI in the field of crime analysis. And then we'll step into all this. So this is the flow for next 8 hours, what we done. Now we'll try to understand what is the introduction to crime analysis. That is, so this is the importance of machine learning application and how artificial intelligence helps crime analysis. And in CRISP MLQ, we'll try to understand what is the business understanding, data cleaning and preparation, data mining and selecting machine learning model, model evaluation, model deployment, monitoring and maintenance. Because this is very much important for any project, data science project or machine learning project that we follow. These steps: data understanding, business understanding, cleaning, mining, evaluation, deploying the model, and then maintaining the model, maintenance of them. And in exploratory data analysis, when you are doing pre-processing, so we understand pre-processing. So first we need to understand the data, and then data should be getting ready for any model to use it. So we'll be having machine learning model that will be helpful to make use of these data and give us some insights. These insights will help us in making our decisions and predictions. Okay, so that's why we just need to do our data to be pre-processed, because model should understand, right? So that's the reason, pre-processing. Now, missing values will be there in the data. There will be a dummy variable creation in the data for the data. typecasting, conversion from one form to the other form, is required. Handling the duplicates and outlier analysis is required. So these kind of processing is required for data, and including that, we have descriptive statistics where we discuss about first moment business decision, second moment, third moment, fourth moment, and then we get into the feature engineering. These are all helpful in understanding how the data is distributed, whether it is normally distributed or with uh, whether it is not normally distributed. So it is very helpful to make you understand with the statistical analysis. So after this, we'll try to understand one of the clustering mechanism, that is k-means, which is predominantly used in all the fields and all the programs, where it is important to make sure understand that it clearly gives you the bifurcation based on the pattern or the behavior. I can say, let's say example here, we have data of some state name and the crime details or the crime type, and it is year. In this data, you can segregate based on the cluster that can be done with respect to the state, crime, and the year. Okay, so you can just analyze at what rate the crime is increasing, whether it is increasing or decreasing, and what kind of crime is happening. So it is helpful in predicting the future, saying that there could be a crime that will happen with respect to the years or month or something like that. So we just need to understand this data, need to go through this data and pre-process it and then send it to k-means clustering algorithm, which helps in making a clusters of predefined k value. So here the k value is hyperparameter where user can restrict in doing this k value. That is, k value can be of 2, 3, 4, and so on. So we'll just check the accuracy when k value is 2, 3, 4. We also have some regularization technique that will help us to define the k value. So that is nothing but elbow curve method or the thumb rule or what we have. Okay. So in depth, we'll try to understand what is k-means when we are discussing. Now, moving on to the next, we take one more classification algorithm, because when I say machine learning, it will be having two things. One is supervised and one is unsupervised. So this is machine learning and supervised and unsupervised learning model, where supervised you'll be having again with respect to regression model and classification model, where unsupervised you'll be having clustering and association rule. Okay, so these kind of models that will help us to make our decision or predictions in future, so which is helpful. So this is one of the classification algorithm that is helping in predicting the cancellation or the crimes based on the location of the city. Okay, so now we'll understand on what basis the crimes are going on, or what kind of crimes are happening, in which city or the crimes is increasing. So it has been classified into different categories, like different types of uh, uh, crimes that is happening and in which state it is increased, in which state it is high. So that kind of information can be obtained with respect to classification algorithm. We also have another classification algorithms, but we'll see some of the important things. So in this, regression algorithm is also used, that is linear regression algorithm, which is helping us to understand the increase and decrease, like yearly. If this year is some crime rate, and the other year, then so there will be a continuous value, so continuous data, where you will be having a input variable and output variable, only one input variable and one output variable. So in this, we just need to understand the pattern of crime that has been happened, or predicting that particular pattern based on the different crime hotspot and criminal profiles, and learning from criminal trends. So by getting the crime data set, we just need to understand randomly to test whether the crime happened or not, and also the crime pattern is what, and it helps in determining the hotspot, criminal profiles, and criminal trends. So there are more advantages in this kind of methods used by machine learning or artificial intelligence. So it is helping to understand hotspot, criminal profiles, criminal trends. So there is one more classification algorithm, that is decision tree, which is helping in to understand based on different criteria, that is predicting the occurrence of crime base. So same thing for classification, even for k-means, we'll be using the same data but different approach. So we'll see which algorithm is predicting very good accuracy, and then we'll go with that particular model. So decision tree classification model is a tree structure where k-means is having a clustering structure. So we also have KNN classification algorithm. This is a grouping based on the different patterns. So here it is constraints, having constraints and deciding whether the crime has done or not. So there are various kinds of predictions that can be made on the data. So based on that particular data, we'll be using the classification modeling or clustering modeling or regression model, and then we'll get insights from that. Okay, so here even deep learning techniques. So when I say deep learning, it is all about neural network model. Okay, so deep learning model is increasing day by day. In one of the deep learning techniques, that is a repeated or recurrent neural network, we call it as recurrent neural network. That is one of its type, that is LSTM, is used in crime predictions. Okay, so an intelligent model will be built to predict the crime. So it is going to not only predict the crime, it also crime type and time of the crime and the place of the crime. So it is going to predict and helpful in predicting these things. So hence it is more beneficial. So you can see that artificial intelligence is providing some predictions, which is helping. So we just need to analyze whether it is 90% prediction or 95% prediction. And you can't expect the 100% result. You can't expect 100%. Okay, so but at least the models that can be predicted with 90% or 95%. So we just need to understand how it is going to make use of all the hyper parameters in artificial neural network, artificial intelligence. We have so many hyper parameters that has been used to adjust with the models, and then that will work. So it is also referred to be as black box model, artificial neural network. Hence, we'll just analyze how it works at the end. Now you can see that application of machine learning. I've told you that we have used some of the classification problem, that is supervised learning model, where we have tree based, we have rule based, we have distance based, we have network based, we have statistical based. When I say network based, it is GANs, okay, multi-layer perceptron, like how I've told repeated recurrent artificial neural network, like same thing. Even statistical based also there for least square mean quadratic method, and that is using kernel. So when it is distance based, k nearest neighbor, knn, what I said is knn is k nearest neighbor. Okay, so these kind of applications that help us to understand the crime data and predict so many things. So we are just using these kind of models to predict and then get the rate of crime reduced. We can't say we are avoiding or we are avoiding or we are stopping the crime, but we are in turn helping us to understand the pattern of crime so that we can reduce the percentage of crime that is happening every month or every year. Okay, so that is one. Unsupervised clustering model, supervised clustering model. Among all the clustering models, KNN is going to predict 78%. You can see that based on this, the data set what we have downloaded, and we are predicting the crimes based on this. And the KNN model is going to predict 78%. The rest of them will be having very less than when compared to KNN model, that is 60 percentage and 70% and 75%. So like this, it is going to predict your model, and it is not like if it is above 90%, only it is prediction is correct. No, it is not like that. The correct information prediction is also valid. So we just see based on that. In classification model, we use confusion matrix that will help us to understand how exactly that you are predicting and what all actual data and prediction data will be taken care. Okay, so in this way, machine learning model as well as the artificial intelligence, that is neural network model, helping understanding or prediction with respect to the crime data. So now we try to understand so that is a clear description where we are working for 8 hours every day. So first day, we'll just analyze, I'm just sorry. So we just trying to understand what is crime analytics and how we proceed further in this domain. Okay, so first I would like to tell you or introduce that what is domain analytics, what is domain means, what do you get from that, why domain analytics is so important nowadays. So we just need to understand that domain analytics is a area. So it's a particular area. It can be of manufacturing. It can be of HR. It can be of finance. It can be of agriculture. So it can be so many data feeds. So all these are referred to be as domains. So analytics is nothing but the skills used to extract the features. Okay, so this analytical skills is required in extracting the features or extracting the insights from the data is very much important. So what we suggest is for every domain, if we understand the data, what we already have in the past history, that gives us more information. Previously, in the previous days, that is 10 to 15 years back, we were not having much data. But now, in all the industries, we have a data which is helping us to predict the future that changes. Okay, so we just need to understand that particular domain with their data. So data analytics is an evolution or a trend that has been continuing for many years. From past 10 years, it will continue further, and that will be your trend. Okay, so knowledge, human knowledge and the data, so mixing together will create a invention from understanding the data, and it accelerates new invention. Okay, so the types of data analytics provide insights that business need to be more effective and efficient decisions. So either it will lead to predictions and decision making. Okay, so each type is used to specific purposes depending on the question of data analysis that is trying to answer. So descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. Now, when I talk about crime analytics, so we are talking about crime analytics. Now, what do you understand from descriptive analytics? Why this 4 stages is required? Why this 4 stages is required in crime analytics? What is the steps that we follow in understanding descriptive analytics? So in this descriptive analysis, we just need to understand the past history of the data, past history by reading the data. So this will tell us so many things. So it can be of different features. These will tell us a pattern of data, and the behavior of the data, behavior of the crime, pattern of the crime, behavior of the crime, and the person who has done the crime, the location. Okay, so there are many insights that we'll get from this, so that the descriptive analytics is important as a first step to understand the past history. Let me give a small example that let's say example, there was a crime that has been happened in the same area of similar kind. So let's say example, it's a robbery. Okay, so it has been registered, filed, FIR is placed in the station. So another place you have a robbery again, and it is also filed and it has been FIR. So when they come to know that there are 2 cases robbed in same area, this can give us the information that the kind of robbery that has been done and the timings and the area will gives us to information that the kind of robbery can be done by a people of that particular area, and we can just go back and then check for the records. In the previous records, robbery records, the clients, or I'm sorry, the thieves that they have done with the robbery can be checked, and then can predict what is happening, or analyze in making a decision to catch hold the people. Okay, so the particular data that we have will help us to understand and then be in safer side and predict in the area. So you can predict that they may come up with this robbery, this kind of robbery in future. Okay, so now in this small example, I've told you descriptive and diagnostic. So when it comes to diagnostic, after understanding the history, past history, we just need to understand what it is telling, trying to tell, the diagnosis. So we just need to test something, need to read this particular data and need to have some testing data. Let's say example, if I want to filter based on the country, based on the location, based on the year, based on the timings, or based on the pattern of crime that has been happen, or the type of the crime that has been happen. Okay, so all these datas will features that will help us to understand different things or tell us different things. So we just need to use some of the methodology or algorithms or testing that will be done on these kind of data that will help us to tell the pattern, the type, the location, the timings, and the uh, crime that has been happened. Let's say example, in one place, chain snatching, robbery, and is happening more, and you can just predict that that particular area is happening with these type of crimes. So the diagnostic is done only after applying some filtering technique to understand these kind of patterns. So when you are predicting, you can just predict that yearly or monthly once in 1:10 ratio, or 10 days once you'll be having, or 2:10 ratio. So you can just predict the probability of getting chances in the particular month or in the particular time or duration or location. So you can just inform in advance and predict future analysis, saying that it may happen. So it is not necessary that it should happen. After telling that 90% of the crime that will happen in this area, in this timing, and this kind of pattern. So we can just predict that. So it may or may not happen. So that predictive analysis can be used to understand these kind of predictions. Now, after predicting in future, let's say example, you have predicted that these kind of crime has been happened based on these features or the data. But in future, you may have that. So what is the precaution that is you have taken to avoid those crimes? So from the insights that when we get the predictions that it can be happen in future, we'll do that in the prediction in the future, we'll prescriptive make sure that that will not happen. So more security will be raised, and the more concern and inform the people that it will happen. So these kind of things can be used for prescriptive analytics. So the 4 steps are more important in understanding the data. So before getting into the actual machine learning, we just need to analyze these kind of analytic skills that will help us to understand the data. Before making our model to read and get trained on the data, we just need to analyze that and then going through the data. So now, what do you understand from the word crime analytics? So it is like identifying and analyzing the patterns in the data, the crime data. So then we just need to apply the models that can predict with high probability of crime occurrences and can visualize the crime prone areas. In a data, when you have a map, you can just map saying that this portion is highlighted. It means that it is very dangerous, so that it will be having more number of crimes will be happening in this area. So that visualization can also be can be made using machine learning model. Okay, so with the increasing advanced computerized system, nowadays the digitalized, and you are increasing with the advanced concepts like increasing the computerized systems, the crime data analysis can help the law enforcement officers to speed up the process of solving the crimes. Since you have a genuine reason or the supporting documents, you can just inform the law to enforce and speed up the process of solving the crimes. So, because usually the crimes or the case that is there in the court will be dragged for so many years. So instead of that, if we have all the evidences and then track of these things, insights from the data, then we can easily understand that the crime happened and the culprit is going to be arrested. So same way, it is also helping to avoid something happen in future, the predictions. Okay, so now using the concept of data mining, we extract previously unknown useful information from an unstructured data. So you can't predict whatever the data that you have got is a structured data that can be formed using table format. But you also have the data which is in unstructured format, where you have an opportunity to convert that particular format and then make use of the other particular uh, information, useful information from the unstructured data. Okay, so now we have an approach called computer science and criminal justice to develop a data mining procedure that can help solve crime instead of focusing on the cause of crime occurrence, like criminal background offender, political enmity. So we are focusing mainly on the crime factors of each day, not with yearly or not with monthly. So now, what is the main application of machine learning in crime analytics? So as I told you, there are many supervised machine learning, supervised machine learning model, unsupervised machine learning model. So it is all providing us to analyze and make our decisions, and also predicts the future. Predicts the future. So this is what we just need to understand, why machine learning is important. What is the use of machine learning? Now we just need to understand this machine learning is built on several useful variety of ways. That is, algorithms are generally split into two main categories, that is supervised and unsupervised, as we are aware. And in supervised learning model, we already have been learned by and apply that knowledge to the same, and their unsupervised machine learning is process of shifting through the data with the aim of discovering the same some unknown meaning of it. When I talk about this supervised and unsupervised learning model, in supervised learning model, we already know the data that has been labeled as classification model or regression model. But whereas in unsupervised data, we don't have the target set. When it is in clustering, we don't have an opportunity to divide model into train and test. Like you just need to understand the target. So now in this real world, what we analyze, where we use the machine learning technology to carry out tasks. So far I'm telling machine learning model is helpful in making your decision and prediction, And even if the data is huge, it is going to provide you the correct answers or predict in future properly. Okay, so hence the power of machine learning comes into the fact that everyone are using this technology which enables the prediction of future, and then the event that even then when contains database or the absent. So this is what the four different steps or the important things that I can tell you on applications of machine learning. So previously we used to learn about four. So descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive, and prescriptive analysis. So same way, even in machine learning, we have so many things to work with supervised and unsupervised learning model, and we just need to get the insights from it. But we also have something benefits of application, why it is used, why it is becoming trending in day-to-day life today, because it is very faster. Even the data is bigger. So it works on the fast data, which is bigger, and also it works on real-time data. So when I say real-time, it is processing or live streaming. Okay, so live streaming sessions can also be live streaming data collection can also be done, and that works with the help of these libraries, and hence it is said to be faster. Now, scalability, it is nothing but the increase or decrease in the particular values, like when you quickly use the same prediction model in future. So then we can have some addition or deletion of some models, some structure of the models. So hence it is scalable. So in the previous, in the any other models that we don't have an opportunity to uh, add or delete, because it's not so easy to add or delete. But with respect to machine learning models or any other models, like with respect to machine learning and artificial intelligence or deep learning, we'll have that scalability to increase or decrease or add or subtract. So it'll be helpful for predicting the future based on the time. Efficiency. So when I say that efficiency, the model runs and it is required with the proper data set. So if not, it will be an problem. So we just need to understand why it has been mentioned as scalable efficiency, because it will work 24/7, and it will it will be giving you the specific insight from the pattern which is required from you, and you don't need to maintain that, because it is once the deployed, you just need to monitor that and then give the data insights from the live streaming. So what is accurate means the model learns from the regular behavior and got trained in such a way that it is very fast to adapt the changes when there is a difference in normal transaction. So when we talk about the real time processing data or real time data, live streaming data, which is getting updated every time, so every now and then the behavior or the regular behavior and got trained in such a way that it is very fast. Okay, so that is the reason we are using machine learning over here. Now, what is application of artificial intelligence? So, application of artificial intelligence, it uses neural network concept, which is like similar like a human brain, which is helping into contains neural network contains different layers of computations, and uses cognitive computing. Okay, so where you'll be having application based, you have a monitoring tool or system generated tool, or these tools whenever there is a data loaded onto the system, it will give you some results, and from this we can predict the insights of it. So the main AI technique used for prediction include data mining to classify, clustering, and then segment the data, automatically find the association tools, and it is having significance in interesting patterns such as including those related to crime patterns in different locations. So that is important. Okay, so it was in cognitive mode. It was cognitive computing that helps in building machines that are capable of self-learning algorithms. As I told you, neural network, it will be learned by several iterations and epochs that it will run and it will learn. Okay, so which involves the data mining, pattern recognition, natural language processing, so many things like that, including that it is trained on the data specific, passing it to the different layers of several systems. Now, when I say it gives more accurate results rather than models, because it works on different data and as well as different models, which is not used in different environment, which is used in the cognitive computing method, and it learns from the patterns. Okay, so this is all about the artificial intelligence, which is helping us to understand the crime pattern and data. Okay, so I'll just like to show you that particular data so that I can explain you uh, how machine learning will work on these datas. So you can see that we have data like this in CSV format. You can see that we have 50 records. Okay, so in this 50 records, state is a first column, urban pop, murder, assault, rape, total. Okay, so these are the kind of crime that it has been done, the crime rate that has been done, and it is a total in this area, so it is again based on the country and also the type of the crime that has been happened. So now here we just need to use this scenario and get the insights from it. Either you are predicting or you are making your decisions. Okay, so there is one more data that I can show you. So we'll going forward, we'll try to understand how the data is helping us to understand with the machine learning model, and then we'll try to understand them. So let me open one more. So you can see that there are few cases where not resolved and it is still unforced, and you can see. So here the data, what they are telling is it's a case number of a particular case and it is ID. So date, block, IUCR, primary type, description, location, description, and their arrest, whether he has been arrested or not, whether it's international culprit or national conflict, and you have different codes for them to save if they have arrested. So you'll be having X coordinate and Y coordinate and the year. So you can just have updated on latitude, longitude, and location. Because since we have a particular mm, locations, so that is happened in the past history. So we'll be having a case number which can be a unique ID or it can be repeated for the same. So we just need to understand by using k-means, KNN. Okay, so initially the machine learning model is going to predict some of the accuracy levels as 78%. As I told you, when we work on these models, it is going to give you some percentage of accuracy. But when we go forward, use some deep learning concepts, we are supposed to increase with this model accuracy, that is 90%. So we just need to understand the traditional method, what is machine learning is all about, and deep learning is all about doing. Okay, so we just need to understand with this concept, with this idea, from tomorrow onwards, we'll try to understand how this machine learning and deep learning is helping us to get the insights from the data, what it is. So whenever I show you these kind of data set, it is not so good to understand. mm, it is not good so good to understand with the data. But once we do with respect to once we do with this process with the uh, data that we have, then we'll come to know. So this is all about. Okay, so every day we just need to try to understand and then come up with the particular scenario. So every time I'll say that so every time we just need to say machine learning algorithm is used or deep learning concepts are used when it comes to supervised learning model, when it is unsupervised learning model. So we just need to understand under machine learning model, we have regression analysis and then classification. So when I say about a regression algorithm, it means that the data is all about continuous data where you have variations. When I say regression model, it is all about the variations. We'll try to understand in depth. So when I change the values or the location, the amount of percentage of prime rate is also increasing or decreasing. So it is having some linearity. So we just need to check whether the linearity is between X and Y. What is the linearity that you have between X and Y? That is what we call it as regression algorithm. So when we talk about classification algorithm, we don't have this kind of linearity, but whereas we'll be having some classes, or when I say classification, it can be of two things. One is binary classification and one is multi-class classification. When I say binary classification, you will be having a target value as 2. When it is multi-level classification, then we can have the more than 2. That is, let's say example, you have male and female. So in classification, you will just decide whether it is male and female. What is the crime rate that has been performed, whether it has been done by male or female. So the classification, when you have multi, you can just confirm that what kind of uh, 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 the crime that has been done. Let's say example, there is a one particular shop that has been located in that particular location, and it has been done with a robbery. So we just need to understand the particular location and the data that has been given to distinguish that can be done with this, it can be done with the other criteria cases, and it is done by different criterias, different patterns. So we just need to analyze moreover with multi classification. Okay, so we just need to understand what kind of data, what kind of problem statement that we have, and then we'll proceed further. So here we do have plenty of opportunities to understand the domain that we are discussing about. So hereafter, from tomorrow onwards, we'll just try to understand what are the different machine learning algorithms that is helping us to understand the data, and also the artificial intelligence that we are understanding the data. So I'll stop here, friends. This is a basic introduction that we try to understand before starting with any of the domain analytics. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can just post it in the chat box. Otherwise, it good to wind up.